What's up, everybody? Axwizard here, back with another devlog. I have been productive today, I tell you what. Let me show you what I've got. I have a pretty exciting major feature here. In fact, I'm going to start a new game for this. I'm going to overwrite my old save. So here's what I did. I added the ability to buy ships. I finished half of my shipyard screen. So you can browse and buy new ships. And the next thing I'm going to work on is you can customize your ship. So let's take a look at browse ships for sale. So this is the browse window. Nothing too special here. It's exactly like it was like 2 devlogs ago now. But fun thing, I start out, I need to put how much money you have on here somewhere. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? I'll add that to the list. Anyway, what we can do is we can go, I added this cool little snazzy thing so you get to see the ship actually in space. And you get to see all the details here as far as like how it stacks up versus your current ship. I still don't have anything on here that shows how much money you actually have. So I gotta fix that. But this, you probably can't see it because I'm still in the way. But here we go. So there's this little purchase button down here. If you don't have enough money, that will just be disabled. You won't even be able to purchase it. So this gives you the information you need to be able to make a decision about buying a ship. But I don't think it's formatted the best way. In particular, the listed price, the current ship value, and the final price, I don't think is really communicated that well. I would like all this stuff to be justified to the right, so I just might make those outside of this table. And yeah, so we'll see what I come up with there. But it's on the screen, you can see it, and also you can see how it compares. So you can see that this ship has 1.1 more acceleration speed than my current ship does. You can see that the maximum speed of this bad boy is also quite a bit faster than my current ship. I've got a little less rotation speed, so I'm not quite as quick to turn around, but I have a little bit more strafe speed, and I've got a slightly more hull integrity, or hit points, whatever you want to call it. I've got less cargo space, but I got one more weapon. So you can kind of weigh those decisions back and forth and see if that's a purchase you want to make. Currently, I think the only ships I can really purchase are the shuttle, which we already, that's what we're using. So that would just be a complete waste of money. We can purchase the luxury shuttle. And then we can purchase the fighter, we already saw that, and then we can purchase the Coalition Arrowhead. So we can purchase those 3 ships. I'm going to go with the luxury shuttle because it's got the most cargo space right now. I'm going to purchase that bad boy. And it's going to bring up this prompt. This is a really basic prompt. I'm going to also add like a color background. I also found out that there's an actual pop-up node that I might play with. So this just basically asks, are you sure you wish to... Oh, I kind of double this. Are you sure you wish to purchase this Syndocracy luxury shuttle for a final price of, what is that, 34,500,000? I also have plans to format the currency a little better. So because the currency can go so high, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work with abbreviations. So like, you know, 35,000, 35 million, 35 billion, trillion, so on and so forth. And yeah, so I'm going to say yes. Boom. So I purchased it. I don't have any cool sound effects or anything yet for it, but I purchased it. So now I can go here to the, oh, it still shows that I've only got 10 tons available. That's not right. I think I have a bug somewhere. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, so I also have to update the, okay, so it's not updated until I instance the ship. All right, that's a small bug to fix. But if I land and go back to trade, you can see now I've got 35 tons available of cargo space. So now if I go in here and I just buy you know, tons of medical supplies. Boom. You can see it's going to cost me. That's interesting. It's adding a comma there. So my formatting function needs a little work, apparently. I don't think it handles negatives very well. So I'll have to work on that. So it's going to cost me 116,375 credits. We'll finalize that deal. And then this is the fastest ship in the game right now. Like, this thing is ridiculously fast. I might need to actually make the ship, when you hyperdrive into a star system, I might need to make that distance farther out, because you're gonna see as soon as I warp over to this next place, I hardly even have enough time to like change course before I collide with the frickin' sun. So here we go, boom, and come on, there we go. Woo! Pull this pig around. Ooh, that was tough. All right, so let's slow this pig down. Come on, slow it down. Bam. Trade goods. Now we can sell these medical supplies. Look at that. We made 134,000 off of that. Slight profit. Now we're gonna buy a crap ton of the xenon here. So our net change is we're gonna still be losing 89,000, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the main system here, and we gonna make a lot of money once we hyperspace over there. So now it's like there's actually a mini gameplay loop. So this is a space trading game right now. The combat, I've been thinking about the combat, like it's kind of lackluster, like just having guns like this that just shoot lasers, pew pew pew, like that's been done. So I've got lots of ideas for cool weapons I'm going to add later. But yeah, so now I'm going to go here, I'm going to sell all this nice xenon I've got here, and bam, 420,000. That's a nice profit. So yeah, you can start making money that way and doing trade routes, and plus I'm going to add missions and stuff. That's going to be happening eventually. Now that I've got a better feel for how UI works in Godot, I'm feeling much more comfortable with it. I think that that I should be able to start brainstorming an events system and also missions. Those are what's really going to bring the game to life. And then from there, it's just a matter of, you know, populating more missions, more events, and then adding more weapons, more ships. I got a few more factions to add. So I'm going to have like main storylines for each faction. So should be lots of fun. Should be like at least a few hours playthrough with this game. I'm getting to the point now where I just want to stop working on it. I just want to play it. And I think that's a good problem to have, but it still needs a lot of work, especially with this whole UI thing. So I think once I start digging into themes, that's going to really make the game come to life, and I start adding more and more sounds to make it more immersive, and it's going to be really, really cool. So, but that's what I've got so far. You can go to the shipyard, you can browse for ships, and you can buy ships. I can't believe this thing is only 500 million. Got 750 tons of cargo space. That thing's huge, man. Thing is slow though. Look at that. Maximum speed 180. Wow. But yeah, let me know what you think of this UI I've got here. What are your suggestions to improve it? I would be curious to see. I really like how I've got this this viewport set up here that has the ship flying through space. I might make it also like turn and stuff like that, so that'll be pretty cool. But I think my next big thing I'm going to work on is going to be customizing your ship. And I think what I'm going to be able to do for that is there's going to be some upgrades that you can purchase for it that just might take up like some cargo space. So it'll use that as like a secondary currency, I guess you can say, for it. So trade-offs, right? You have to buy the upgrade, but then you also have to give up a little bit of cargo space to actually install the upgrade. And I might add the ability to, you can even install more weapon slots if you want. And also you might be able to just move these weapon slots around on the ship as you see fit. So I'm going to see if I can implement that. That would be cool, but we'll see what I come up with. But anyway, that's the demonstration portion. Now we're going to jump into the code review portion. All right, so code review. What have I done? So last devlog, I implemented the save system. So the majority of my work, I think, was mostly done with Shipyard Window. I cleaned it up quite a bit. There's still some things I definitely need to clean up with it, but a lot of the work was mostly done on the buy ship window. So let's go ahead and bring this bad boy open. Okay, so this is the scene for it. So previously in one of the previous devlogs, I just had a texture rectangle that just showed a picture of the ship, and that was pretty lackluster. So what I did is I added a viewport container, and then I added a viewport. I threw in my parallax background, and then in the code, I'm already instancing the ship so that I can pull data from it. So all I'm doing is I'm adding that as a child of the viewport, and then I'm adding a camera to the ship and then setting it as current, and that's all I'm doing. And then in the ship code itself, let me go to the ship code here. I added another variable somewhere in this mess. Yeah, I added this. I just added a variable called display mode, and I just default it to false. So if I set display mode to true, when it goes to do AI control, I'm just simply checking, hey, if display mode is true, then all we're going to do is just run this AI state display mode. That's all we're doing. And if we go to that function, all we're doing is just setting our action to accelerate. So we're just making the ship go. I thought it might be kind of cool to add some stuff, like maybe the ship is like turning and, you know, flying around. That could be kind of cool. But or maybe I might make it like follow the mouse. That could be really cool. So you can interact with it. I don't know. But yeah, so that is that's what I've got going as far as the changes to my ship. Let's go back to the buy ship window. So what I did here is I did a few things. So I'm loading in the player data. So again, since I have the save system implemented and I have persistent player data state that is saved to a file, I can load that file whenever I want and pull the information from it. So that's cool. I'm also calculating the final price. So this is used for when we click buy ship. It's also used to determine if the buy ship or the purchase button, whatever it's called, is even enabled. If you don't have enough money, it won't even be disabled. Or it won't even be enabled, it will be disabled. And then I'm also keeping the ship instance up here rather than inside the ready function. That way I can reference it in other functions beside ready. So I was having to do a calculation in, I think, one of my signal connector functions. I had to do a calculation that involved the a ship instance. So first things first, inside my ready, I'm loading the player data with my utility function I made, load player save, and it's getting that data. I'm also instancing the player ship, that way I can access all of its data as well. And then from there, I just modified my BB code to list like the stuff. So I made these functions called like add float comparison and add integer comparison. And all these are doing is this is just taking in the ship that we're looking at buying, comparing whatever value we're looking at, in this case acceleration speed, and we're just comparing it to the existing ship we already have. And so what this function is doing is we're just simply getting a difference here. So I'm taking the new value, and then from that I'm subtracting the old value, and I'm stepifying it so it only has 2 decimal places ever. And then from there, I'm just sort of determining the color and whether it needs to show a negative sign or not. And then from there, I am returning the BB code. So here we have color, and then we have the parentheses, and it's going to have the positive or the a negative sign, and it's going to have that difference, whatever that is, listed. So, and the integer is the same thing, except I don't have to do this stepify thing. So I'm sure I can find some way to consolidate that, because that's a lot of repeated code. I don't like that. I like to keep my code dry, you know, don't repeat yourself. But I'm tired and I'm just happy it works. So I'll just add that as like a to-do later. But so let's go back up here. So I added in the stuff. This is the part I'm not too happy with right now, where I'm sort of calculating the final price and stuff like that. Like the calculation's fine. How I'm displaying it, I'm not very happy with. So I need to work on that, but it's all just kind of just, again, adding on to this massive BB code string. So I think I might make this table. I might put the price stuff above the table and just don't put it as table cells. And maybe I can format it so all the money can be justified to the right, so that way you can easily tell, like, hey, this ship cost $1 billion, but I only have $1 million, and it'll make much more sense. And also, my plan to abbreviate the large amounts, I think, will also help as well, but we shall see. I'm not sure what I want to do with that yet. So the next thing I'm doing here is I'm pretty much just comparing everything. And then, let's see. So here, previously I was destroying my ship instance after I pulled all the information off of it. But now that I'm adding it to my display port, I'm setting display mode to be true. I'm adding it as a child of the display viewport. I'm instancing a camera, setting the camera to be current, and then adding that camera to the ship instance. That way it's inside the viewport, and the ship shows up right in the middle of it. So that's pretty cool. And then we're also cleaning up the player instance, since we're not doing anything with that after we've already retrieved all the data from it. And let's see, this is where I'm disabling the buy button if you don't have enough money. So I've got, since I pulled player data, when this thing loads, I've also got the inventory data in there, which includes the funds, which is how much money you have. So if the funds is less than the final price, then you cannot buy it. You are too poor. So there we go. And I also added confirmation prompts. So I made 2 very crappy components that I think I'm gonna have to redo entirely. But if we look at like confirmation prompt, I made a center container with like a panel just similar to what I've done before, but I found out that there's actually a pop-up component, a pop-up node. So I'm gonna play with that at some point when I get some rest, because I've been working on this most of the day and I'm kind of drained. But this is what I got rigged up for now. It works. It's not glorious. One thing I do want to do is I actually want to add a child node. I want to do a color rectangle. And what I want to do with this bad boy is I'm going to make this, I'm going to make it expand. Oh, actually, yeah, since it's a center container, it's I'm gonna set a minimum size to just be 1920 by 1080, which is the size that we want. And then for the color, I'm gonna set this bad boy to be like black, but I'm also gonna make it faded, so it's kind of like a alpha, so it'll overlay itself over everything. So I think that will be better. So we'll save that. Let me just try it really quick. New. I'm gonna overwrite the old save because, yeah, browse ships, purchase. There we go. So now it has a overlay, and this is a lot more prominent. But that's interesting. It does a weird thing. Oh, the buy ship window has a margin on it. I see. When it's adding that thing, it's not making it cover the full screen. It has a margin it's trying to conform to, so that's why it's all like offset. All right, I need to work on that. I need to fix that at some point. But anyway, so I added this confirmation prompt. It's a very simple component. It just has some signals, yes or no. When you hook it up, I'm setting the action description, which is a variable I made. I could have probably just simply called it something like text, but whatever. And then when we are emitting these signals, we're just also cleaning up ourselves. So this is a very simple prompt. It gives you a yes or a no. And then whenever you hook up the signal from whatever you're calling this, you'll be able to pass in like what you want to say and also what you want to do based on yes or no. So yeah, I did that. And then I also did a error pop-up, which is not even a pop-up. It's still a center container. And this is similar to the confirmation prompt, except it only has OK. So I'm using those. So if we go back to the code here, so I have confirmation prompt yes. So here's what happens when you click on the buy button. I'm creating a confirmation prompt just in case you accidentally click on. I don't want you to buy a ship you didn't really want, because the purchase and the cancel buttons are pretty close to each other. So I'm adding a prompt. It's always good to have those safeguards, unlike some games like Diablo 4 that don't have that. That's fun. So here I am instancing a prompt. I'm setting my action description to be like, are you sure you wish to purchase this for blah, blah, blah. I'm using a template string here. So it's the first time I've tried to do this in Godot. So you just do these $S, which means it's going to be of type string. And then you do another, or not $, %, and then you do another %, after with an array of the stuff you want to populate with. Kind of neat. So I've got that there. It's adding that prompt. I'm also connecting the signal. So if they click yes, it's going to fire this confirmation prompt yes function. And what this does is this does one final check to make sure that the ship you're buying has enough cargo space to hold the cargo you're currently carrying. So for example, if I'm like right now, the ship I'm using has 35 cargo, 35 tons of cargo space. If I load up on cargo goods, like trade goods, and I go to the shipyard, and it's not going to let me buy like a smaller ship because I don't have enough space to carry all of my cargo. So you'll need to sell that stuff before you buy it. So this just returns an error message. It just simply says, hey, unable to complete purchase. The new ship does not have enough cargo space to hold your current cargo. Just gives you an OK, which will just close it out automatically for us. So we don't even have to connect that signal. And then we're just returning. So once the user solves that issue, then it moves on and we're able to facilitate the purchase. So what we're doing here is we are updating the file name of the ship. And what I should do is, because I was running into that issue where it wasn't updating like my cargo space and everything. So I wonder if I should, so we're already saving it. I wonder if I should instance the ship, save it again. So I'll have to do like 2 saves, but I think it should work that way. I don't know. I'm going to sleep on it because I'm super tired right now and I'm starting to make lots of stupid mistakes and just take a lot of shortcuts, which is not a good sign. So I'm just not gonna mess with it. But what I'm doing is I'm updating the file name, which is the path to the scene basically. So I'm updating that to be the ship that we just purchased. So, and then I'm also subtracting the final price from my funds, so we're actually paying for it. I'm saving the player data, and then I'm emitting a signal that we choose to purchase it, which goes back to, I think, Shipyard Window closes it and just basically has us go back to the location window. So that's the current workflow. I need to figure out this this save issue, because not all the data, like everything is fine when you leave the location and it actually instances the ship. because it saves the data. It like updates the save file. So I need to work on that, I think. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I've got. It's pretty messy, but it works. So there's some ways that I can definitely streamline this and clean it up. But yeah, that it didn't take as long as I thought it would to rig up this cool viewport looking thing. And you know, I think it starts. I'm gonna load. Here we go. I think it just. Wait, did that actually load? I don't remember if I start. It started over. Shipyard. I'm gonna buy a ship. Okay. So we should save, right? So let me start it again. There we go. Let me just test. I hit new and I hit cancel. So yeah, I must have started a new game last time. Yeah, so we're good. But yeah, being able to I think this browse ship screen's kind of sparse. I think it kind of works for now, so I'm gonna leave it. I might make some changes to it, but I really like this display here where it shows the ship actually flying, and you can see all the weapons it has mounted to it and the thrusters. So I think it's a good start. Gets the job done, but definitely room for improvement. So that's what I've got going on so far. But yeah, Neurality 3092 is starting to come together. This viewport thing gives me kind of a cool idea. I might do something similar for the title screen. I might just, like, as soon as you pop it open, there might just be like some cool ships fighting, like right on there. That could be pretty cool. So, but yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I've done, really. It's just those things. Some things I have to work on for sure are chip customization. I'm still thinking about how I want to facilitate that. So I already have an idea for how I'm going to handle weapons and weapon slots. I'm pretty sure I can do lots of cool stuff with that, to where like you'll be able to position and like move your weapon slots around, and also of course add different weapons to those weapon slots and add additional weapon slots, or if you're desperate for cargo space, you can even remove weapon slots. That could be interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. The thing I'm not sure on how to handle are some of the upgrades I want to be able to add to ships. So some examples of upgrades I want to be able to add are like simple things like makes your maneuverability better, maybe makes your a certain weapon fire a little bit faster. So I'm going to have upgrades for the ship, but also upgrades for the weapon as well. So I'm going to have to determine how I want to handle those. So yeah, I got lots of ideas. I just need to stop working on this and sleep. So that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts on this. Especially if you have suggestions for cool things to do with the game, I would love to hear those. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in whatever video I make next.